Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is October the 4th. I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation for you. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. So amazing to be alive today. Hope you're having a beautiful day already and on purpose. Okay, can you see that? I hope you can see that. Let's go ahead and get into this meditation. It's entitled, well, that's the wrong date. All right, it's entitled October 4th, Hope and a New Way Forward. Ooh, this is going to be good. Hope begins when we think that it might be possible for us to stop using against our own will and stay clean. That's taken from the Living Clean, Chapter 7, Living Our Principles. By the time many of us show up to our first meeting, we have broken the trust of many people in our lives. For some of us, there wasn't a single person left in our lives who would believe us even if we told them the sun rises in the east. No matter how many people we burned in active addiction over and over again, one person was more likely than any to be skeptical of anything we said: ourselves. This is one of the huge stumbling blocks that stops many of us from truly feeling hope when we first get clean. We know ourselves. We can't be trusted. Sometimes people in our lives looked at the way we used and accused us of having no willpower. But the truth of the matter was that we had so much self-will that we had lost all freedom to choose. There was no space between our impulses and our action. Getting clean? Sure, no problem. We can do that just fine. That is, just until we feel like using, then all bets are off. One of the most courageous things we have to do in order to get clean is to allow a little bit of hope into our spirit. Define all of the evidence to the contrary we have amassed in our active addiction. People who use the way we use don't get clean, but then we find ourselves in rooms filled with people who use the way we used, and they're clean, allegedly. Maybe, is it possible? Self-will, impulsive behavior, obsession, and compulsion. Even though many of us came to NA blaming the world around us for our problems, a lot of us felt deep down that we were too flawed to have the lives we wanted. In NA, we found people with flaws just as deep as ours, and they taught us how to become free. It's hard to see a way forward when I'm standing in my own way. I will let other addicts show me how to step aside and find a way out. This meditation is so, oh my, oh my. Whew. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Please and thank you. Whew. October 4th. This is a beautiful meditation. I like it. There's so many points in here that I could write a book on just this day alone. Truly. When we're talking about how well we know ourselves and people telling us, you could stop using, you just have no willpower. Oh, we have a lot of willpower, right? This meditation makes it so plain. In fact, we have so much self-will that nobody else's will even matters. Like we can't even control it. It's so powerful. So don't come at me with that. You have no, willpower to stop. Oh, I can stop. I just can't stay stopped because when I decide that I want to use again, I'm going to use again. Thank you very much, right? Right. I love this meditation. This is one of those meditations, Hope and a New Way Forward, that it's got me fueled. I mean, and it's a play on words, right? Hope through navigation, hope offered on demand. Yeah, I get it. I got a sensitive spot for the word hope, but this meditation is the bomb. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let me tell you why. That second sentence in the paragraph, if I can highlight it for you, let me try. Just the first part. We know ourselves. Everyone else might already be at the point with us where bets are off. No, you cannot borrow any more money. No, you cannot stay the night. No, leave your bags wherever they are. I will come to you and bring you what you need. Uh, we go through so many people. We burn so many people. We get to the point where our family, they really like, unless we can tell them we've been clean for a long period of time, they don't need that in their lives. Or maybe we have the type of family that's all using and we're trying to break away from that. And it was all already a dog eat dog world in our families or with our close friends, whoever got the best of whoever just had the greatest hustle that day, right? Maybe that's the case. But at the end of the day, we already know they should not be trusting us. We already know when they're running into the store and they're leaving their whole wallet or their whole purse and they're just taking one ATM card or something. We already know we're not trustworthy. Why would they leave their whole purse, their whole wallet in the car with us while they run into the store, run to the ATM real quick to pick up something? Like, why would they even turn their head away from us and not watch every move? We already know that. We already think that about ourselves, right? So when people foolishly do trust us, we definitely want to live up to our reputation, don't we? Right? We definitely want to live up to our reputation and make sure we slide our hands into that little compartment in the car or slide our hands here and take a dollar or two here, really, more than that, right? It's amazing what a mini camera can do. It's amazing the revelation you'll have about the people that live around you that claim to be clean, what you can catch them doing with a mini camera when you're not around. I am assuming that you're in that type of situation. You don't need to be in that relationship anyway. But the point that I'm making is that there's a little bit of deception in even the most honest people. But we know that we are full or were full. We were full of lying, cheating, and stealing, and deception, and manipulation, and degradation, and dereliction, and all the other shuns. We were full of them. Hmm. But at some point, there's a crack that started to happen called the gift of desperation. And that gift of desperation just made this little tiny slither of a crack. And it kind of went to the left and it just kind of, you know how a crack starts out small? You've seen those little holes in your window shield from a rock driving down the highway. It starts out small, but then it develops veins. And this little crack of hope starts to have veins, and these veins start to go all throughout our brain, our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our spirits. And before long, it just wasn't a little sliver of hope. We're full of hope today. And we're learning about this spiritual principle that we can be restored to sanity. We have developed a step to the point where not only do we come to believe that we can be restored to sanity, but we know we have been restored to sanity because now we have a step 3 in our lives. Then we turn our lives over to the care of a loving higher power. And we've been able to identify our patterns, our traits, and we share those dirty little secrets with one other person in God who already knew. And we identify our character defects and how these things, fear, anger, and resentment, how they make us continue to fall short because we want to protect ourselves. And so we see our shortcomings and we're able to humbly ask God, can you remove that from me? The next time I think I need to lie to impress someone so I can be a part of the club, can you remind me of who I am today? That I'm okay with who I am. I don't have to pretend for anyone. Just for today, I can be authentic. I can say no and mean it. I can say yes and mean it. I can change my mind. How about that? These are the things that hope gives us when we're hope filled. And so we begin to see now I can behave differently. I can act, I can have the thought, but I don't have to act on it. Hope and a new way forward. This is what we're talking about. Hope begins when we think that it might be possible for us to stop using against our own will and stay clean. Hmm. And true, it is hard sometimes to see a way forward when you're standing in your own way. But let us, other members in the fellowship, be the addicts that show you how to get out the way, get out of your own way, and find a way out. You know, I had a newcomer, I would say a person coming back newly, but a newcomer, and this person was close to, I want to say 60 days or so. And there was a request being made of this individual where they live in this sober living home um, to volunteer and do some work. And it just so happens that they happen to get a job the same week that they need to volunteer. And the volunteering is mandatory. It's not like they can wiggle out of it. They have to do it. And of course, when you know you're getting a new job, they also have some demands if you want the job. And of course, you want the job, but it's kind of hard to, if you have a pattern of always getting 30 days, 60 days, and you rush into working and you get that first check and you relapse, it's kind of dangerous sometimes to actually work too soon, right? You can become a productive member of society at any time, but let's first get this down of not using. And the rabbit trails that they ran themselves through, worrying about whether or not this new job would give them an opportunity to fulfill the volunteering commitment so they can keep the place that they live for today. I would say they were probably 2 centimeters short of picking up just from stress and anxiety. But at some point in time, they realized the serenity prayer is powerful and that they needed to use that to get through the day and just see how things unfold. And do you know it all worked out? They're not scheduled during the volunteering time. They're going to be able to do what they need to do. So sometimes the things that help us to get out of our own way are just the cliches, just the serenity prayer, just remembering that story that I just told you. Things work out if we get out of the way. But if we get our hands into it, our self will, our impulsive behavior, our obsession and compulsion, right? If we get our hands into it and start trying to mix it up, a lot of times we are I want to say, end up being filled with so much shame and guilt behind the manipulation that we had to do to get our way, our self-will, right? The purpose of our self-will is to have what we want, right? Sometimes we get so caught up in that guilt and shame. Once again, I told 100 lies just to get $100. Hmm. And we pick up because that's what makes the agony of our own character defects, our own shortcomings, not feel so intensive. But the problem is that once you pick up the first one, you never know when you're gonna pick up the last one. And nowadays, you can barely eat sweet tarts or Skittles without being worried about having fentanyl in them. You can't take a Percocet that you brought on the street and not be sure it's not laced with fentanyl. Yeah, burying a lot of people from fentanyl overdoses, and it's intentional to kill off the people that sometimes need the most help. So today I want you to take this spiritual principle of hope seriously. I want you to start thinking about whether or not you have it. And do you have just a little bit of it or a lot of it? And then in that journal we talked about, I want you to start writing down all of the times you hoped for something and it came to pass. And then I want you to somehow incorporate that on your permanent gratitude list that I told you to write down. And when you become hopeless, I want you to flip to that page and I want you to read out loud all of the reasons why you need hope and how it has helped you to plow your new way of life forward in a forward momentum. My name is Mighty Stream, and I love this meditation today. I love my life today, and I'm very grateful for it. You have a beautiful day on purpose.